What's up guys, I'm Caden with Crypto Now or Never and welcome back to another Turbo update. If you enjoy this content, please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. None of this is financial advice. Let's get into it.
I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want.
Alright, so as usual, we're just going to start off with a little Bitcoin update. So rather than focusing on some of the smaller time frames today, I'd rather take a look at the bigger picture. So this is actually Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. And there are a few things that I'd like to point out. And the first thing that I'd like to point out is the fact that we are still holding above the previous high. From a technical analysis standpoint, this is the level that we've been watching for a long time, $73,794. This is where Bitcoin previously topped out. So it would have made sense if we came down and retested that level. You can see that we came down to 74,434. So as of now, we have actually front ran that level. And it's not uncommon for Bitcoin to front run very important levels. We saw that happen in the previous bull flag. We actually front ran this wick that a lot of people thought we'd come down and touch. But as you can see, it never actually happened. So believe me, I understand it feels like we have been bleeding for a very long time, especially if you look at a chart like Ethereum. Ethereum has literally been bleeding since early December. That is 5 straight months. But from a macro standpoint, we are still in a very clear uptrend. This is very important to actually understand. In addition, I'd like to point out that the stochastics on the weekly time frame are extremely oversold. And if you look at the RSI, it's almost at fair value, but it's still a little bit on the oversold side. And you pair this with the fact that the M2 global liquidity is increasing. Usually this is an indicator that front runs pumps. Look at the previous times that we have had local tops. We had a local top right here. We had an explosion afterwards. We had a local top right here. Explosion afterwards. Local top right here. Explosion afterwards. And again, we are increasing. Now, is it guaranteed that we are going to explode? No, it's not. But history suggests that there's a good chance we do explode. And it aligns perfectly with the stochastics, the RSI, and the macro uptrend. I have been saying this for a long time, but do not get shaken out of the market. The market is built on psychology. It's designed to try and shake you out. Don't let that happen. Now, another chart that I actually want to show you guys is ETH BTC. Now, the reason that I think this is very important because as a lot of you guys know, Ethereum has been getting nuked. And especially if you look at Ethereum against Bitcoin, it's been getting destroyed. And it really has been getting destroyed since 2022. And the reason this is important is because this is when the Fed actually started QT. During last altcoin season, it was quantitative easing, not quantitative tightening. But regardless, Ethereum BTC is now all the way back down to the range lows. This is important because it has provided support in the past. And the reason that I'm showing you guys this to begin with is because we need to see Ethereum break out in order for altcoins to explode. An Ethereum breakout could absolutely spark an altcoin season. But the fact that we are at range lows is very important. If you look at the RSI, it is extremely oversold. Now, obviously, there are going to be some people that think this is never going to recover. That's perfectly fine. If you just think Ethereum's dead at this point, then there's nothing that's going to change your mind. But I would like to point out that the Ethereum Pectra upgrade is coming out on May 7th. And you pair this with the fact that US inflation falls to 2.4% lower than expectations. There are a lot of potential catalysts that are aligning right now. Because inflation is continuing to fall, this could absolutely lead to rate cuts, and more importantly, it could lead to the end of quantitative tightening. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to get quantitative easing right away, but if quantitative tightening ends, that could be very bullish for the crypto market. Quantitative tightening is not good for risk on assets. We want to see it end. And there's a chance that it could end in May. So that could be about the same time as the Pectra upgrade. And again, you factor in that ETH BTC is trading at the range lows again. There's absolutely a chance that we see this start to turn around. If you look at a project like Turbo, it's actually had a decent bounce over the last day. Turbo's back up to a $144 million market cap. But I'll be honest with you guys, the level that I'm looking for Turbo to flip again is 0.002876. If we can get back above this previous support, then I will absolutely be bullish on Turbo in the short term again. But it is very important that we reclaim this level. Or at least we want to see Turbo come up here and put in a higher local high. What we don't want to see happen is Turbo to have a hard rejection and then put in lower lows yet again. If that happens, then Turbo's going to have an even bigger hole to climb out of. But I want to be clear, why is Turbo doing well right now? Well, it's doing well because Ethereum is doing well. You can see that Ethereum is up 5% right now. And a 5% pump on Ethereum is huge for its ecosystem. This is why I've been telling you guys for so long that it's important that we see an Ethereum breakout. If you actually look at Ethereum on the weekly time frame, we are still in a falling knife. A lot of people don't understand that about Ethereum. This is a massive drop. So the little move that we're seeing right now, this is not what I'm considering a breakout. We want to see a macro breakout, not just a short-term breakout. We want to see Ethereum actually start to break out and get back above the 200-day moving average at least. If we can reclaim this level, that's when you know it could be an official breakout. But just with Ethereum bouncing a little bit, we've seen Turbo get a very nice bounce and a lot of the Ethereum ecosystem get a bounce. So as I've said in all of my other Turbo videos, I do not think this is a Turbo issue at all. If you look at their X account, they're still doing everything the right way. And I think today is a perfect example of why you shouldn't panic. Crypto is not going anywhere, the market will break out again. All of that being said though, if you guys are interested in joining a like-minded community and getting into projects super early, then I also recommend taking a look at my Discord. At the current moment I have 3 different tiers, but we've been making huge gains in here this entire bull run. So if this is the kind of community that you wish to be a part of, you'll find the link right here on my YouTube homepage. I'd love to see you guys in here. But that's about all. Let me know down in the comments whether or not you guys still believe in Turbo long term. If you found this content valuable, please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day.